Yeah, so the it's the beginning of May here in Southwest Michigan. Finally getting into warm weather. I don't think I'm gonna have to wear pants the rest of the year, so that's good. It's just shorts weather from here on out for the next 5 months. It's good because you know up here in the upper Midwest by the Great Lakes states and whatever, a lot of people get seasonal depression, myself included. So my productivity should be starting to go up and everything. And yeah, um, yeah, pretty much. Um, I got to go to the gym here in about a half an hour to 40 minutes, so I'm gonna probably record this in a bunch of different separate little clips and then just play all the clips back to back to back when I put this video out as just one live stream. And the reason I'm doing that is because I still don't have the thumbnail made up yet, so I might as well just work on the thumbnail in between recording the different clips for the whole one video. Um, I've got a little bit of script typed out for this topic today, and then a lot of stuff I'm just going to be ad libbing also. So hopefully this comes out real smooth and everything, and the conversation flows real nice and whatever. All right, so let's get into it. The MGTOW black pill community always talks about girls only going after the top echelon, 5% of guys. But I'm going to make an unpopular and controversial counterargument here. Anyone who is a 4 or above can be at least a 6 or even above if they put in the blood, sweat, and tears to looks max, especially, you know, I think especially if you're a guy or even if you're a woman. I mean, if you go to the gym, you can just, there's a lot, I mean, just at like different stages, I would say. Like, there's a lot a woman could do. Like, if she just squats a lot and goes to the gym and puts on a bunch of makeup, a 4 could be like a 6 or a 7. You know, she like works, she just like squats a lot. Like, if she's maybe not like got a perfect face, but she's got a nice ass, then hey, that can make up for it. But once you get to the 3 out of 10 and below in looks, the sub 5s, I actually think men have it easier than women at that point. Because there isn't really an invention that can make a woman look more feminine like there is for guys who can just go on, TRT and boost their physique, because a male's attractiveness is based more upon their physique, whereas for a woman, it's so based on their facial symmetry. So they almost have it worse than men in a lot of ways. And Wheat Waffles just put out a video about this about 2 or 3 weeks ago, making an argument for women having it worse than men. Actually, I think in the long run, men have it easier than women, but in the short term, women have it easier than men. Get into their once you get into the 30s, I think certainly that's when men start to have it easier than women. Yeah, and also guys' attractiveness, it's based a lot off of things not even related to their looks, such as favorable character traits such as like work ethic, charisma, emotional intelligence, and IQ related intelligence, which directly correlates to your ability to acquire money and status in society as a man. Sorry about your luck if you're a sub 5. We don't have CRISPR designer babies technology yet. Ha ha ha. Don't worry though, you might have better luck in your next life as your reincarnated form. So, in summary, here is a ranking in terms of who I think has it easiest to who has it hardest in that order. 1, attractive women. 2, attractive men. 3, unattractive men. 4, unattractive women. Life sucks if you're an unattractive person, long story short. male or female. It makes you wonder when we'll finally get the utopian designer baby CRISPR gene editing life extension technology, artificial womb stem cell future we have all been dreaming about and have seen proof of in our favorite science fiction movies. The MGTOW black pill community always talks about girls only going after the top echelon 5% of guys, but I'm going to make an unpopular and controversial counterargument here. I think guys are just as bad, if not worse, in terms of how picky they are. You know, and then for all these like red pill dating coaches and stuff always talking about like how porn addiction is a problem for guys, but I don't know, I think it just proves like sort of the Richard Dawkins and survival of the fittest evolutionary, biology, kind of theories that are out there. Guys, guys are super picky. Like, it sucks for the unattractive women too, because guys are only gonna go after the top girls. And, yeah. I mean, I guess you could make the argument guys would rather just like watch porn of like, because you can see the you have access to the top echelon girls look wise level. Then you, whereas in real life, you're probably just gonna get like an average girl, like maybe a 6 if you're a normie guy. Like, even if you're a Chad Light, you're probably still only gonna get like a 6 girl. Um, the statistical odds that you are a 10% guy looks wise is so astronomically low. Most men have to compromise and settle down with the 6, 7, or 8. You know? Um, um, Now I'm gonna go into another theory. Now to give another route that is probably gonna have to happen because the super duper futuristic tech probably won't get to 100% in our lifetime. It will be a painfully slow water drip process as we wait for this tech to continually develop and get eventually one day to 100%. There's a good chance we won't be able to see society reap the benefits in our lifetime. We may only get the early stages, the tip of the iceberg, 5, 10, or maybe 15%. What I think is much more likely to happen first is culturally influenced virtue signaling for this sort of self-censoring eugenics, as I like to call it. I know we've brought this up a million times in the manosphere and you're probably sick and tired of hearing about it. But look at what's been happening since the introduction of Tinder and dating apps 10 years ago. The incel rate has tripled among men. This is what has made women go for the top echelon of men. And I think porn has a lot to do with it. I think it just makes men get really picky and raise their standards super high, and I think it does it for women too. I think it's happening to both genders. Like, I think there's a lot of engineering by the elites and globalists to make anyone except for like the top 5% or less like attractive people, male or female, on the planet, to like, and then everyone below that to like hate themselves because they never feel like they're going to be good enough looking. I mean, there's a Stardust. I really like his channel. His channel's fantastic. Him and that guy Pete, you don't invite it to gatherings. We're talking about this. They were talking about the like how the most important decision you're making in your life is choosing the right parents and everything. And there's just so much truth to that. There really is. Um, I think it's I think this is all social engineering by the globalists. I don't think it has anything to do with female nature. Whatever that even means anyway. That's a fucking MGTOW term. I don't. Ugh. Ah, Walt. Women are demons. Hey guys, how many different YouTube videos can I make about roasting thoughts and 304s before I die? Every single video. Men are walking away. Men are walking away. Men are walking away. Look, guys, we did it. This is going to be the cultural movement of 2023. Jesus Christ, for a community that seems to be so obsessed with not caring about women, why the fuck is every single motherfucking video about women? The fuck out of here with that shit. Don't take it personally, fellas. I give you motherfuckers this. When they actually decide to talk about something other than the usual BS for once, like the last War Table stream, or actually the last two. I typed this script up before they put out a second one. The streams are actually really fucking good, especially Sandman, Joker, and Hammerhand know their shit on geopolitics, foreign culture, world history, at least somewhat. Sorry for that rant. I had to throw that roast in there. It was too perfect of timing. Back to what we were talking about earlier. And then, like, I don't know. Undead Chronic, like, he's smart. Like, when he wants to be smart, he's smart. But I just feel like he wastes too much of his time. And his content is just so repetitive. With, like, the same shit. I mean, I'm not gonna deny that he ain't smart. The guy knows what the fuck he's talking about. But, yeah, the content just gets a little bit too repetitive but yeah, sorry for that rant. I'm gonna get back into the main topic of what I've been talking about for the last 20 minutes or so. I think a lot of men and women that aren't in the top echelon looks-wise will just decide to not have kids. I mean, this shit is being culturally pushed everywhere. Hollywood, colleges, the media, the planet is overpopulating. Stop having kids, yada yada yada. The child-free movement, anti-natalism, and David Benatar and all that. Yeah. All right. I think I'm gonna cut this off here and come back later and start talking again. I don't have the most energy that I normally do right now for some reason, so yeah, I'm not a morning person for some reason. I always feel awake more later in the day, so maybe if I record this at night, the conversation will flow better. But yeah, I'm gonna record a bunch of other segments after this, and then it'll all be posted as one, just the clips back to back when I put this video out as the one combined full thing for the live stream. What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to part 2. It's a gray overcast morning here. I woke up at about 9 a.m., went for a walk, had a banana for breakfast, just got done drinking some green tea, so I got some caffeine in me. Should be way more energetic than last time, so and should be good to go here. It's about 11:22 a.m. here in Southwest Michigan, and yeah, without further ado, let's get into where we left off last time. Yeah, so just kind of to start off here, talking about my problems with MGTOW and everything. Just as far as the religious aspect, I mean, I just don't get it. I mean, like, yeah. I mean, I just don't get like the the hatred of women and everything, and like I don't understand like Sandman, Hammerhand, and Undead Chronic, how they think like the only way to save the for how they think the only way to help incels is to like for us to just go back to, you know, the 1700s and live like hunter gatherers and stuff. It's like it's like kind of this BS like Buddhist philosophy of just like relinquishing all like desire in life and just like eliminating all emotion. It's like if we just eliminate all emotion, and I know this is kind of getting into deeper philosophy here, but just like if we could just like eliminate all emotion from everyone, like life would be better. And you know, there's a book about that I had to read in middle school called The Giver, and then they made a movie about it too, and it's like a world where they just eliminate everyone's emotions, and like in the trailer for the movie it said like oh, when humanity has the power to choose, they choose wrong and stuff. Like I feel like they say they're all Christians, but they're like transhumanists. They're almost like Elon Musk and Ray Kurzweil. I can't stand those guys either because they think like we could just solve all the world's problems. Like I feel like what they want is to just solve all the world's problems by like uploading your consciousness into a computer and just like getting rid of all emotions. Like I don't understand it. Like like Hammerhand says, like they get so triggered like when people call them incels and stuff. Like they think that like pickup doesn't work, which is just completely stupid. Like they're the most black pill. They say they're not black pill, but they're the most black pill in the entire fucking manosphere. I mean, like Hammerhand had a quote. He said, "All women are going for the top 2% of guys." Like it's like no, you don't have to be a Division 1 football player level physique to get a 6 out of 10 girl. I mean, I just don't get it. And then like they try to use like religion, like Christianity and Islam to like say, "Oh, well, if everyone was in the world was a Christian and a Muslim, there wouldn't be incels because we'd all have arranged marriage." And it's like, "No, that's just dumb." Like they think women are demons and everything. It's like, okay, well, if you actually looked at it from a scientific perspective, you'd realize that only like what? Only 5% of mammals are monogamous. Like females were never monogamous. I mean, I forget the girl's name that studied the chimpanzees in Africa, but like the females aren't monogamous and everything. It's just males aren't monogamous. Like all like the 304s and everything, like who cares? It's honestly just natural. I feel like Christianity and Islam is just unnatural to human nature, and that it was just a control mechanism by the elites to control people. Here I do have a script typed up about this, covering this in depth a little more. Um yeah. Where the heck did I talk about this? Okay, it might have been one of the other ones. Hang on, guys. Okay, here we go. Um, yeah. Um, just kind of giving my worldview here about just kind of like the most big picture thinking view of the world as a whole. Um, yeah, you can't go your own way if you're in college and you're still a virgin. Worse yet, if you're in your mid to late 20s. I mean, that's what an incel is. It's there aren't any incels that are still in high school. It's guys that are in college and in their mid 20s that still haven't got laid yet. No man who's in junior high is going to be considered an incel if he hasn't lost his virginity yet. Nobody who's a junior in high school is going to be considered an incel if he hasn't lost his virginity yet. So you're going to be depressed if you're in the situation a uh, of a mid 20s guy or a guy in college who's still a virgin. I mean, like Hammerhand, just all the BS like religious theory, like oh morals, ethics, values, principles, like oh yada 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 BS. Like him talking about how oh it's just culture ingraining BS programming into you that you have to have women. Oh, you don't have to have women. It's like no, you guys, your community is kind of toxic and it's kind of wrong and it's kind of I think it's doing more harm than good for younger guys. Like if you want to be a guy who's in his late 40s or 50s and be a MGTOW, I understand that. But for a guy who's in his 20s, like, no, you have to try. You have to try something. I mean, I'm just tired of like the defeatist mentality of like the black pill and everything. And wheat waffles, I think that he was kind of a grifter early on, but he started to realize that like, oh, black pill is wrong. No, you have to realize where you stand at least, and I think he is trying to help people. Um, I think the I think MGTOW is the most black pill in the manosphere. Like as I said, yeah, women only care about the maximum survival of their offspring. Sorry, you gotta you gotta suck it up and see life for the way it is. You can't just run. You have to deal with life. You can't just run and hide and quit. You have to see the world for what it is. Once you see the world through the lens 100% of purity of atheism, you realize that all anyone is genetically programmed to do is be as selfish and get as much power for themselves as possible. Damn the cost to anyone else. Men plot to destroy men with more power than them. Women plot to destroy women who are more attractive and beautiful than them. That's just the way it is, and that's what we're programmed to do genetically. We don't really have free will. I agree with Sam Harris. And, you know, it is based. somewhat. So, yeah. But yeah, my Bible is The Selfish Gene by Richard Dawkins. I can't understand all the Christian bullshit pushed by MGTOW. I can't understand Christians and Muslims, period. I mean, you'd rather fuck the same girl for the rest of your life and sit in a church and sing gospel songs than try to smash as many girls as possible before you die. I just don't get it. Some of the Christians and Muslims are so extreme that they only think sex is like for making kids. Like Vosh and Jonathan Haidt had a debate on this, and like he's one of those guys, probably just another closeted gay guy because he said he was like in the same like organization as Jesse Lee Peterson is, and he says, "Oh, well, like sex should only like last for like 2 minutes, and it's only literally for creating a kid." Like, I mean, like some of these guys, they're just so dumb. Like, I know they're. What's going on, guys? Back from that little break. Um, it's a new day, and gonna get ready to record segment 3 here of this little series that's gonna be put out as all one live stream. Um, yeah. Um, I'm gonna be talking about continuing on with a lot of the same topics we've been talking about over the last 20 to 30 minutes. Plus, I'm going to be talking more specifically on black pill and incels in this video and what I think is the best path forward for them on how to improve and get results with girls. So, yeah, let's get into it. I don't know how long this segment's going to last. Yeah, here we go. I don't understand the MGTOW delusion of monogamy. It's not natural. They have scientific studies to prove this. Less than 10% of mammals are monogamous, and there are only about 2 or 3 ape species that are monogamous. I also think that MGTOW and a lot of other manosphere content creators put out this BS that in ancient Rome and ancient Greece, and even further back in Sumeria and further back in hunter-gatherer tribes, it was a select few men at the top that had multiple women and a select few at the bottom that had no women. Sure, that may be a possibility, and that may have happened sometimes, but here is how I think it happened in most tribes. For the guy that was greedy and power hungry, that tried to keep all the women for himself and commit violence on anyone for even coming near, air quotes, his woman or women, here's what I think always ended up happening to guys like that. He would have went to sleep one night and never woke up because all the other men in the tribe who were fed up with his shit would have found the biggest rock they could find and dropped it on his head right after he fell asleep. Joe Rogan had a guy on his podcast, and he was a psychologist that specialized in identifying narcissists. And this is where I got this specific example from that I just talked about. I saw a clip from one of Jordan Peterson's recent podcasts where he was talking about the same thing. And I just talked about this yesterday in the segment I recorded. He was talking about what happens when the alpha leader male chimp of the tribe starts to become too greedy. 2 or more chimps rise up against him and kill him. I think the theory that it was always the biggest, strongest chimps that bred the most successfully is mostly bullshit. I think it was the smartest chimps and the ones with the highest social intelligence that always rose to positions of power and leadership in their respective tribes throughout history. And Peterson was saying the same thing in this podcast. I don't really have a script typed out for this, so I'm just kind of ad-libbing. So I might take a few pauses here while I wait for the thoughts to come to my head. But yeah, um, and I have experience with this in my own life. Like, I really do want to help incels. I have a coworker who's like 1 year out of high school, and well, actually, I have a bunch of coworkers. One's like a couple years out of high school, the other's a few years out of high school, and they're both incels. But like, if they had if they had the means, like if they had enough wealth to go to the gym, and like they were able to like eat out whenever they want just for convenience, for saving time, and get the right diet in, like, yeah, they could put on a bunch of muscle and get in shape, and I think they would have actually really decent results with women. But you know, like, that's another thing I disagree with Chronic. Like, he thinks that it's just a simple cut and paste solution where, oh, just go to the gym and work on your finances if you're an incel. Like, those are like, no, it's more than that. Like, I can't get the same results of weight training as someone who's as a 4 star or a 5 star recruit at a Power 5 football program. That, because I mean, I don't have the funding they have. I mean, they feed you and everything, and like, they just have more resources. They have $100 million facilities to work out in, and the average guy who has to drive to some rinkety ass YMCA to do weight training like I do, it's just impractical. I mean, I guess a lot of people have their home gyms. I can't do that because I live in an apartment. So, I mean, I do have enough space in here, barely, where I might be able to get a squat rack in, but it'd be so heavy. I don't know if the floor could handle it because I live on a second floor. So, yeah, it's just. And when he did the debate with when John Anthony did his stream where, or when Undead Chronic did his stream where he debated John Anthony, after he got done debating John Anthony and he was having all the callers call in, Nixon was one of them, and he was talking about how Arnold Schwarzenegger and all these like fitness YouTubers put out this stuff of how, like, oh, just follow my training program and you'll look like just like me. It's like, no, you won't. You don't have my genetics, and you don't have my wealth and resources, and you don't have my time. So you're not gonna. So no, it's BS. You're not gonna get the same results. Like, I'm sorry, it's not just that simple as going to the gym and working on your finances. I mean, like I said earlier, like I was talking about earlier with Stardust, and like what he was saying, it's a lot of it has to do with the cards you've been dealt, and you know, choosing the right parents, and environment is a lot of it too, and just your economic situation. Yeah, if you're upper middle class, that's the only situation where that's going to work for you, going to the gym. Like, for someone who's like struggling financially, like, yeah, you have to, I'd say, work on your finances first and get as much progress with the gym you can, but just know that stop comparing yourself to like D1 football players, because you're not going to get the same results. You're going to be exhausted and mentally drained, and you're not going to be able to be 100% in the gym as if you have like an easier job. Like, for me, I don't get the results in the gym I have because I work a very physical job. But if I was a software engineer and I was able to work from home, or I had a work from home job, I would get better results in the gym. So that's just a personal example from my life. But yeah. Um yep.